No.
Hi there, welcome back to True Gooner. And in this video here, we're joined with Kenny Ken and we're joined with Stephen. How you doing, guys?
I'm all
Not so
okay.
bad. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right. Well, I'm feeling a little bit better after buying unit, but still not in the best of moods of being a fan. But let's get some talking on. So, obviously, last night we got the victory against Sutton, unconvincingly, but we'll talk about that to start with. Stephen, we'll come to you. What are your thoughts on the game?
I think it was a job done, wasn't it? I think it was always going to be a difficult game playing on that pitch. Obviously, our passing game was a bit off again. You picked a strong team, so we'd have had to have done something seriously bad not to get the result on that game. Sutton gave it their all, but our better quality told in the end. We got a bit of a lucky goal, I think, with Perez's shot come cross, which sort of eluded everybody, went in, which was good. And then, we got the second goal, and apart from them hitting the bar, there wasn't really a lot from them, was there? No. I think we coped with them quite well. But I think the pitch had a big part to play from our performance point of view.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. Kenny Ken, what did you make of the game yesterday?
I think it's a sort of game where it was imperative that you just didn't let the occasion get to you, because you had to accept that it was very much Sutton's day.
Yeah,
all the TV cameras are there, and I think what's happened is that the media wanted a story. And I think, as you can imagine, we have no intention of giving them that. I'm afraid. Sorry to be a pain and everything in terms of like the Barbara Cartlands of the FA Cup and the romance of the Cup, but we needed that victory big time. We didn't need. I think there's been too much noise regarding Arsenal, especially since what happened in Munich. And I think it's important, very important, that we made sure that we, under no circumstances, that we were anything less than professional. And so we just got out of there. We didn't have to play well. I know people were very frustrated about the way we played and the passing, and I get that, because I know a lot of fans went to the game and a lot of fans will expect some quality. But in those sort of games, it's imperative to avoid defeat at all costs and leave it at that. Because I know people are very much, of the opinion that Arsenal, like I said, they wanted the story, really. They wanted us to lose. They wanted the pressure to be on our manager.
I think the whole country wanted us to lose, apart from Arsenal fans, which is
but I think what it was is that people had a lot ulterior motive, in my opinion, because I think what it was is that, people wanted us to lose, but I think they wanted us to lose for two reasons. One, because it was a romantic story, but two, I think other fans do get some enjoyment out of Arsenal fans having, how do I say it, disagreements and, meltdowns. They love it. So
just like you see on Twitter all the time, every time we lose, looking forward to Arsenal Fan TV tonight, looking forward to Arsenal Fan TV tonight, every time.
Well, it's good luck to them. Good luck to them. Like it's a massive product. We got Arsenal Fan TV got there first, and like I said, it's like I said, if you want retweets, just retweet one of our videos. So there you go.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. Let's get on to both the talking points. Obviously, Lucas Perez got another goal for the club, and he's done very well lately. Stephen, will come to you on this. Now, of course, yesterday we heard rumours by his agent that he wants to leave the club. Do you seriously think, Stephen, that he should be starting more? Because what I've seen from him lately, he's done brilliant. So what do you think of that, Steve?
Down, isn't he? He's got a good ratio of goals to attempts. And I think he should get more. I mean, I would have played him on the left instead of Iwobi. Started Walcott on the right. But, because I don't think Iwobi's been getting the best out of Iwobi recently. And I think
he's a bit
should get more start. Possibly. He's a young player and they have dips in form, don't they? And I think not done anything wrong. And I don't want him to get into that, Campbell situation whereby he has a great game and then he doesn't play for 3 weeks.
Yeah,
because his goal ratio is very good, and he gives 100%. He's pacey, and the more he plays, again, the better he'll get. So I'll definitely play him more.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely, and I certainly would. For those of you who watched my formal review last night, you will see that was my title of my review: play Lucas Perez more. And Kenny Kent will just come to you. The other talking point was obviously Theo Walcott got 100 goals for the club. Obviously, it's taken him 11 years to get it. But do you think it's a good achievement for him? Because not many players have done that. Or I know we're expecting more from him because of 11 years of the club, £100,000 a week. Oh, someone scored from that Man City.
Yeah, John Stones has just scored.
Oh wow, this is a cracker.
Yeah, John Stones. He made a mistake made a mistake, but you know, I think it's one of those things. I think both teams don't want to defend.
Oh wow, it really looks like
in terms of Theo Walcott, I think what happens is that obviously he has divided opinion. He's been woefully inconsistent last few years, but the thing is, 100 goals is a massive achievement for you know, especially at a club like ours, and it doesn't matter how you get there. You know, he scored 100 goals in about 300 appearances or something like that. And what's happening is that, you know, like I said, he's played from position to position. You know, he's played. Sometimes Theo's played right wing. Sometimes he played a split striker. Sometimes he played a striker. So it's a very good achievement. And you know, he deserved the goal because I think his attitude during that match was, you know, like I said, he was
brilliant,
very professional.
And after the game, you saw what he did after the game.
Well, Theo's like I said, sometimes he's an unofficial spokesman, but I think for a footballer, I think a lot of footballers get a lot of bad press, but I don't think you can label that a PR. He's extremely polite lad.
Yeah,
like I said, he's very much in terms of the fans. At the Emirates, he's, you know, like I said, he's one of the people who do, you know, give the home fans a clap after the match.
Oh, that needs to be sorted out. That annoys me.
Although it's been pointed out to me that sometimes when the players are clapping, they're actually clapping towards their family.
Yeah, their family. Like they're not actually. Yeah, I've seen
ignoring the fans.
Yeah,
and I don't know whether Theo's guilty of that, but one thing you do know about Theo is that. Sorry, headphones came out. One thing you do notice about Theo Walcott is that he in terms of like PR, if you want anyone to like I said represent you, represent the club, Theo Walcott's your mate.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that.
I definitely think so. I mean, Theo loves the club.
Yeah, he does.
Giving his life to the club, and I think he respects the club. He respects the club's values and what it's all about. And he wants to represent the club. He's a good ambassador for the club. You know, and as Kenny says, 100 goals in 300 games. Bear in mind the positions he's played. He's never played as an out-and-out, you know, striker. To get that many goals is a good return, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
And he's been injured a lot at that time.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, that's
coming back from long-term injuries, and so yeah, I think it's a good return.
Yeah, absolutely. There, agree with you. So obviously we beat Sutton, and now next round, we've been very fortunate with the draws. We got Lincoln City, another non-league team, this time at the Emirates. And so, Kenny Cairn, do you think? What kind of game are you expecting? Are you expecting a similar type of game, or are you expecting a much more comfortable game? Or obviously these non-league teams, you can't disrespect them, but do you think that this should be a comfortable race to the semi-final?
Well, I think the thing what is right is that, you know, the thing about it, right, is that it's going to be on the back of the second leg of it's going to be on the back of the second leg against
Bayern Munich.
Game that I think universally, I think it's accepted that we're not going to be doing anything there. That it's a given that we're unfortunately, and I say unfortunately with a heavy heart, we are going out. And I say it heavy heart, but in terms of the FA Cup, we have to be at it. There is a possibility of going to Wembley. One thing about Arsenal is that one thing that we've always complained about with Arsenal. For 30 years was our lack of silverware. We went 9 years without a trophy. So in terms of the FA Cup, we can't look down our nose at that. In terms of how Lincoln are going to approach the situation, is that it all depends on the professionalism. One thing Lincoln are not going to be happy with is the fact they're going to be playing on a big pitch. So when we play Lincoln, we've got to make the pitch very big, and especially like. Because I think if Lincoln do press the play, we do our passing, then what will happen is maybe in the last 20 minutes, I think we're going to if we're at it, we'll be able to win comfortably. But you just never know with the FA Cup. I think Lincoln have got a bit more quality than Sutton had. Sutton had, if you take out Deacon, there wasn't really much quality there. And I say that with the utmost of respect to them, but it's just I'm just trying to be factual on that. They weren't what I call a team blessed with quality. And I think in terms of Lincoln, I think they got slightly more quality than that. But again, I think Lincoln are going to bring 10,000 fans. They're going to, like I said, treat it a day out, and maybe their players make with that attitude. But you know, I think it's time for us to sort of step up. It's not going to be, like I said, easy. But the reason why I don't think it's easy is because of how we're going to make it, and how we approach it, and it's just professional in that. Pass and move, take your chances when they come. Be ruthless, because you know what's going to happen. You know, there's no replays in the FA in a quarter final.
Never isn't. It just goes straight to extra time.
Time and penalties. So we need to be very careful.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. Of course, we mustn't dare be complacent, because I remember the few times when we played some teams that we expected to beat in other divisions and we're being complacent and we come unstuck. So, of course, we can't allow that to happen again. So, Steve, obviously, do you think now, obviously, as Kenny Kim said, unfortunately, we're out of the Premier League title race, and unfortunately, we're out of the Champions League, which I'm not happy about. Is it important now that we do go out and try and win this FA Cup, that we bring this trophy back to the Emirates? Is it important that we need this FA Cup win to go out all out?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's still, you know, the most important club competition in the world. I mean, it's still one of the most followed competitions. It's a very important competition. And, you know, I think we'll put out a strong team. I think Wenger will actually do what he did last night. He'll put out a strong team. And if they play well on a decent pitch, Lincoln shouldn't be able to live with us. Simple as. You know, as we all know, it depends which Arsenal turn up. We've put strong teams out before. And if the team doesn't turn up, then we can make Lincoln look like Barcelona, can't we? We're very good at making weak teams look very good against us sometimes, which is quite annoying, really. You know, so I think if we're at it straight off the bat and we can get that early goal, sometimes that eludes us, doesn't it, that early goal, to settle the team down.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think he'll go strong. As Kenny says, I think with the Bayern Munich game, I think he might not go as strong, possibly. Keep some back for the Lincoln game.
I still want him to.
Possibly.
It's important with that. Even though he does look like it's trying, it's still important that game. That Bayern Munich game, we go full strong. We don't do that. That's disrespectful. We have to go full strong and go out and give it everything we can for that.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. But I think if we put a strong team out against Lincoln and we're at it right from the off, then Lincoln shouldn't be in the game.
No.
End of. That's my opinion.
No, simple as that. Kenny Ken, what are your thoughts on that? Do you now think Arsenal should go all out and try and get this FA Cup back to the Emirates? I know he doesn't make amends for an average season again, but obviously, as you said earlier, we've been accused of going a long time without winning anything. So now this is a chance. This is our only chance, pretty much, that we're actually going to win something. So, do you think it's important we go all out and try and get this trophy?
100%. You've got to realise, right, is that it's about getting medals. I think players, you can get your big contracts and you can get the top sort of finishes. And I fully respect the fact that if you want to attract excellent footballers and attract good managers, they want to be involved in one of the best tournament, which I think is the best club tournament in the world football, which is the Champions League. However, when you retire, you've got to look at the situation, right? When I tell my grandkids and I show my games as a medal department, you want to be able to display silverware as well as Champions League qualification. And I think the FA Cup, in terms of what Arsenal is, it's not going to change nothing. But I think what's exciting is the prospect of the fact that potentially it's the semi-finals, and I mean potentially. We're looking at a probable strong lineup. You look at the other games. Chelsea are going to play Man United. There's going to be a winner that day. There's going to be no replays. A strong side's going to be in it. we're assuming, and I say I'm assuming Man City beat Huddersfield.
Yeah.
And then what's that? Is that Middlesbrough are going to be at it? Middlesbrough are basically flirting with relegation because they don't score enough goals. So again, which Middlesbrough is going to turn up? But potentially, if you're putting your money in it, if Guardiola selects a strong side, albeit the fact that he's got a second leg to play in Monaco, potentially that's a team we could play. And then you've got the I think the Metropolitan Police are going to be very busy when Spurs play Millwall.
Yeah.
I mean, I think as we all know, Millwall got some very sleeping supporters.
Definitely.
Who basically turn up to the big games, and I think they'll be very interested in running the gauntlet down White Hart Lane. I don't think Spurs fans will be looking forward to it, especially when they see who's going to turn up. But again, potentially, Spurs are playing a third-tier English side, so potentially that's another big side. So I think in terms of Arsenal, I think Arsenal equation, and it's a, like I said, I think there's some wrongs they got to right. They struggled to beat Spurs at the Emirates. They lost to Man City. Chelsea turned us over recently. Man United made it difficult versus Old Trafford. So they're mouth-watering ties, and I think Arsenal Football Club, should be part of that. So I think, and winning the trophy, most importantly, it's for the fans. Because the fans, it's for the fans. Everyone can talk players, but I think, regardless of whether you got a ticket or not, I think the fans need a day out.
Definitely.
And any fan, it's not just fans need a day out. It's other things as well. Like, if you can't get a ticket, you're unlucky. You need a day. In terms of you need a cup final day that the club's involved in. Like I said, going shopping, coming back, having that sort of big match atmosphere, albeit from maybe in a pub or at home. But you want your club to be involved in that. I want Arsenal to be involved in the FA Cup, and I want Arsenal to win the FA Cup at Wembley against one of their rivals.
Yeah, same here.
Can you just imagine potentially Wenger's last game, Arsenal Tottenham final, and Arsenal beat them?
Oh.
You just imagine that.
Oh.
Go out on that sort of game.
Well, it's one of those things. Like I do like I said, 100% agree with you on that. It's a massive occasion, and I think what's happened is that we've fallen in love with the competition again. I think when Arsenal first went there, when we had a very strong side, strong first 11, we're right because of the fact that our side were very fit. We could play a cup and strong teams in Europe. Although Europe still remains one of a disappointment to us. But what I'm coming with. But we were able to play strongly, and then we had a very good FA Cup record in the first few years. And obviously, when the Champions League got a bit bigger, and we weren't able to attract the caliber of player, we started shadow boxing the competition. And it's only since 2014 when we started winning trophies again that that kind of bought Arsene more time.
Yeah. Now let's get on to that subject, because obviously it's been a bigger talking point over the last week or so about Arsene Wenger, and everyone's going on about it. So it's only fair if we talk a bit about it. Now, of course, everyone knows all my views on it, as I won't change at the end of the season. But let's just Kenny Ken. Obviously, you've been Wenger out for quite a while. We know your stance. So, do you think that this time is finally the time? It has to happen, and also let's be honest. If he was to go, who do you think will be the ideal replacement, and where do you think he should go if he was to leave? Because obviously he said he'll be management next season.
Well, the thing is, a very interesting question, because we spoke to this at length in one of your previous broadcasts, and the thing about Arsene Wenger is that I think what you can't underestimate is that in terms of Arsene is that there is a massive determination from the board to give him a new contract. Because in terms of you've got to realise that the remit that Arsene's clearly been given by Kroenke and all the rest of it is to get Champions League qualification, finances, in terms of merchandise, much match day revenue, most importantly, TV revenue as well. So Arsene Wenger's delivering that. Now, because Arsene Wenger's delivering that, there isn't a move to for him to be replaced. So what's going to happen, right, is that if we don't get the top 4 this season, win the FA Cup, because of the money we've been making, we potentially can afford to spend a year out of the Champions League and then rebuild. Now, the rhetoric of Arsenal Football Club is that if we do finish out the top 5, the rhetoric, the impression I'm getting from the board is that, well, he's got us top 4 football for nearly 50, incessantly since 1998.
Yeah.
Now, because if he misses out 1 year, their rhetoric is, well, is it fair to sack the guy that's been giving us that? So it seems to me that there's a mandate that he'll be given another chance. In terms of Arsene Wenger himself, what I saw at Munich was very worrying. I saw players who are no longer playing for him. I saw players who disrespected him incessantly. And the thing about it, it's not just the fact that we got thrashed; it's how we lost.
Well,
if we're not doing the base,
was shocking.
It's not a case of that. It's not a case of it shocking. If you're not playing for your manager, and the way you're not playing for your manager is if you're not doing the basics. If you're looking around for someone else to do your job rather than taking responsibility. Because when you're on a football field, you've got to be your manager's personality. Now, I saw players basically walking. I saw players when the third goal went in who didn't want to know. I saw one player, a star player, who didn't want to be around his teammates, who, when his teammates were in a circle, he was on the floor on his own.
Yeah. Oh.
And I'm not going to mention names. And I think that tells me that players are not playing for the manager. And if you're not playing for the manager, right, then that is the most important statement that any banner can do. Banners which are saying get rid of Wenger or banners who want to stay. Because at the end of the day, we're fans, but Arsene Wenger doesn't know who we are. He's aware, he don't know us, he doesn't know Steve, he don't know me, he don't know you, Seb. But he knows his players. And then once you lose that important ingredient, in terms of losing your dressing room, then that will dictate whether Arsene Wenger will stay or not. And I think that's the thing is that don't be fooled into thinking that any disgruntlement from our fans and any criticisms from the media or ex-players is going to make Arsene change his mind. It's whether he feels he can get through to his players, and that in turn will make his mind. Remember, Arsene Wenger, because of his standing in the game, will get another job anyway. So he may want to return to France, may want to go to Monaco. So you just don't know in terms of that. What you do know is that Arsene Wenger, wherever it happens, Arsene Wenger will be managing. I personally hope it's not at Arsenal. But if Arsene Wenger was to leave Arsenal, I like Allegri. I think Simeone, in terms of, is a great position, but I think Simeone will take time. And we've got to be very patient. I think when we get Allegri, I'm not saying that we're going to be instantly successful, but I think the process is going to be a bit in terms of like I said, the foundations are there anyway. In terms of the fact that we're 70% there, we're so, believe it or not, this is the strongest squad I've seen for a long time.
Yeah, I think so too. I agree with you there.
Unfortunately, and I say unfortunately, the old sort of, in terms of professionalism or lack of it, and the old sort of mentality in the big games is still with us. So you can have the personnel and the quality, but if mentally they're not ready for adversity in the big games, and then mentally they don't have managers in the big games, then it's not going to be the same. And I think that's where a lack of that's where leadership's going to come into it. So that's something that I think Allegri can work on. Because you've got to remember, there's nothing to say that he can't win the title in his first season.
Of course he can't.
Ranieri did it.
Yeah.
Ranieri did it. Conte's going to do it. Mourinho did it. Ancelotti did it. And Pellegrini did it.
Yeah.
And what's happened is that Conte is turned a 10th place into the champions, and they're going to win it at Cancer because there's no weakness in their side. So it can be done.
Of course it can.
I don't see a reason why it can't be done at Arsenal.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there, Steve. You got anything to say about that? Do you think a new manager is time?
I think I pretty much agree with most of what Kenny says. Really, I think the mentality of it. I think Wenger's lost some of the players. You could tell that in their body language. It's the way they play. You can obviously see him from the side that they're not doing what he told them to do.
Yes, but do you also
at any point during the game?
Partly because of
You know,
that.
and I
Do you
think
also think because what I saw Ancelotti do was bomb up and down the touchline, even when they were 5-1 up. And Wenger's not doing any of that. Obviously, we've seen.
but Wenger never has those. Wenger's not that sort of manager. He never has been, is it? We've never seen Wenger running up and down the pitch like your Contes and your Mourinho's, and he's not that sort of person to do that. He's not suddenly going to do that after 20 years, so that's never going to happen. And I think Wenger will make the decision of what happens next. The contract will be on the table for him to decide what he wants to do, and he'll be up there. There's no way on this planet that Arsenal are ever going to sack Wenger. Unfortunately, no way that's going to happen. We could finish 6th or 7th. He's not going to get the sack. But he will know himself. He's the sort of person who will know himself he can't get any more out of that team. Because if he's pushing and pushing and pushing and it's not happening, he knows it's not happening, and he knows he can't do anything about that. And I think that will be the time he'll say, look, guys, I can't do any more for this team. It's 20 years. I've taken this team as far as I can go. And now's the time to move on. And he'll leave a very, very strong side, as Kenny says, because individually those players are fantastic players on their day.
Yeah, definitely.
You just need somebody that can actually get all those players together and play us. Whether they decide, right, with the team we've got, we're now going to play 3 at the back and 2 wing backs. Push Bellerin forward, Gibbs forward, play 3 at the back with Mustafi, Holding and Chelsea, and play a completely different way. Whatever it might be, or go back to a 4-4-2, whatever it might be, the new manager will come in and he'll do whatever's necessary with those players. And he'll see something that maybe Wenger hasn't seen or didn't want to see. And he'll get different things out of those players, and you'll see them perform differently. It might take a season, and I'll take a step back to take a step forward. So Wenger will see the light and think, now's the time. Because to go on another season and it gets worse, can you just imagine the fallout of fans and TV, and it's like a boxer taking one extra fight.
Exactly, and
get knocked out in the first round, isn't it?
Exactly, and of course
you don't want to see that.
Exactly, and of course we have to remember everything he's done for us, which is absolutely respectable.
Absolutely, yeah.
And what you don't want to see is him continuing burning his legacy. Then we're having all 60,000 fans on his back. I certainly don't want to see that in my lifetime.
Absolutely.
Well, I think touching on Steve's point, I think the thing that was poignant. And then I think what I saw, sometimes the final curtain for me was that interview after the interview with Des Kelly after Bayern Munich.
He looked lost.
I've never seen Arsene Wenger like that in my life. The bounce went through him. I think he looked like a man who'd been betrayed.
Yeah, he looked totally lost. That's what Paul Merson said.
It was one of those things where I thought, you know what, just end the interview. I can't. It's not right to see him like that. And then the press conference only took about 1 minute, about 3 minutes. Again, it's the situation. Then you had the situation where there was apparent leak to the German media regarding the fact that he's going to be making a decision in March and April, and March is going to be with us. Now, the thing about it is that you have that situation, and after he slept on it, the Friday press conference. Like I said, I'm going to be managing somewhere anyway. As to say, well, if you don't want me, I'll find something else. And then you had the situation with the Sunday Sun on Sunday, where they're saying it's 4 more years. So it's all kind of mixed messages. It's like we're not in the know, although a majority of people, regardless of if they're behind Arsenal or not, they're basically they are accepting that change has to happen, because I think the rhetoric changes all the time. Like, you've gone from a few years back where you said, well, you can never say that about Arsene Wenger. You're out of order. Then all of a sudden you get an attack for saying it. Then all of a sudden there's the explanation regarding the lack of funds and the stadium. And now what we're having now is that, well, you've got to show him respect. We know he's got to go, but he's got to be done respectfully. So I think it's happened, and I think that his time has come to an end. I've been calling it for a few years, but what's happened is that it's only because I'm seeing the same sort of frailties as I've seen before, and it's not because they're footballers. I'm seeing excellent footballers make the same mistakes and lose easily to their rivals at home and abroad, and these are excellent players. What it is, these players have gone on to win major trophies, Champions Leagues in terms of Henry, leagues in other countries and leagues in this country. So you've got to sometimes look at the common denominator and say, well, hang on here. Why is this other coach getting more out of me, this player, and Arsenal isn't? And before I get to Steve, I think Steve should take. Oh, maybe Steve could take this point up for me. Player improvement. So the question is to ask you, Steve. Don't want to take over, Steve. In the last few years, have you seen Arsene Wenger actually improve a player?
No, I've seen a lot of players that have come in and plateaued. You know, they get to a certain point. I mean, a bit like Iwobi, really. He had a great start, but he doesn't seem to me to have improved from where he was at the start of the season, really. Funny enough, Ox is starting to play a little bit more confident. Now he's playing in the middle. But you know, people like Gibbs and certainly Ramsey's gone backwards.
Yeah.
Gibbs hasn't developed. One minute, you know, a season ago he was in England left back. You know, and they were saying he was going to be the next big thing, and he's gone backwards. You know, Ramsey gone backwards. Walcott's really stayed as he was. And obviously Bellerin has been in the only really, and of course, runner of games, isn't he? And he's sort of developed that right back position in his own. He looks a real find, but can he bring him forward? Will he get enough chances to develop? I don't know. You know, I don't think he will, because I think he's going to stick with. You know, he's given Mertesacker another contract, isn't he? And it just sends out the wrong message to me.
The thing about in terms of Mertesacker is that I know where this is going to go, and I've got a great respect for your opinion. I get it, but I look at the fact that things ain't right in dressing room, and I just want a bit more experience in there.
Yeah.
And I think in terms of like consolidation, I would like Mertesacker to be involved in some of these games. And I get people's feelings about Petr Cech. You know, I don't agree with it. I still think he's our best goalkeeper. But in a game in Munich, I think one of the things that perturbed the players and caused great concern in the dressing room is the fact that they appreciate that Ospina is a fantastic goalkeeper, and they appreciate the fact that Ospina had a good game. But massive game in the Champions League, you want experience against one of the top teams in Europe, and Petr Cech does provide that experience and calm.
Yeah,
and I think Arsene Wenger missed a trick there. And I'm not saying we wouldn't have got thrashed if Petr Cech was there, but it's like when you go to work, right, and you've got your manager, right, you need to be lifted. Yeah.
Do you think the loyalty thing is something that holds him back? He's too loyal to players.
Definitely.
Like at the start of the season, he
definitely
probably said to us, look, you're going to be my cup goalkeeper no matter what. You're going to play in the Champions League no matter what. Now, whether or not that's the right decision for a particular game in the Champions League, he's already made the decision who's going to play. Well, and the loyalty of keep playing certain players. I mean, you had a situation the other day where Ox was playing really well and Ozil was virtually visible. And Ozil stays on the pitch and Ox comes off. Well, so what message does that send out to Ox?
Well, again, that's very bad.
The wrong message, isn't it?
It is totally the wrong message.
It's all about man management, because I think what's happened is that you can man manage one player well at the detriment of others, especially if things are not going well. It's like there's a situation at Queen's Park Rangers. Remember when they had a player called Adel Taarabt?
Yeah,
lazy player. He was like an abomination at Spurs. But what's happened is that he found his level of championship, and Neil Warnock gave him preferential treatment to the extent that he felt if he could get through to Adel Taarabt and give him the preferential treatment, it will help QPR win matches. So, like I said, he gave him the captaincy in 2011, 2012, when he had players like Sean Derry. He gave him the captaincy in order to lift him. So that way, it gave him more responsibility, and it helped for that season to get him into the Premiership. And I think in terms of Arsene Wenger, his one is kind of, in terms of as Ozil is, again, it's like he knows he wants to get the best out of him as Ozil. But I think what in terms of that is that he's bought a player, wants him to be a talisman, but that's not in his nature, and that's not how he's been a talisman. Like Mesut Ozil's always played his best football in good teams that are playing well. When teams are not playing well, the Mesut Ozil's not Even he's not your go-to man. He's never been like that, and I accepted that. I'm very critical of that because of the money he's got. And I think that he should lift himself up to level. But the Sky Deutschland said when a team plays well, Mesut Ozil plays well. When a team's lousy, Mesut Ozil's lousy. And I think that's the situation. But you can look at Iwobi. Everyone knows that Iwobi is struggling at this level. Could do with being taken outside, but Arsene Wenger wants him to grow. He feels that perhaps if he takes Iwobi outside, he kills him.
No. But the thing is, what you don't want to do is you don't want to burn out the players.
I think you've got more chance of, if you keep playing him, I think it's going to have more of a detriment to his confidence than it will do if you take him out for 2 or 3 games and keep someone like Lucas in his side. Because what you're doing to Lucas, you bought him and you don't play him.
Exactly.
But he scores and plays well when he does play. So what's that sending to him?
But there's other issues as well in terms of Wenger's man management and mismanagement of the actual team and the players he has. Regardless of what you said of Granit Xhaka, he's bought a player for 35 million, but he doesn't know what to do with him. He doesn't know whether to play him as a deep line midfielder. He doesn't know whether to play him as a holder. He doesn't know whether to sort of play him on the left. I think he doesn't know what to do with him. He doesn't know how to fit him inside. You know what I mean? It's like when Cavola goes out the side, that's it. Nothing. Ozil can't play well. He knows in terms of like getting someone to get the ball to Ozil. Ozil tries to be part of that midfield where he's ineffective.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think Arsene Wenger's mismanaged that. And
you mentioned Coquelin, yeah. And Coquelin's been out of the game, hasn't he? I mean, he's been nowhere near the level he was last season, Coquelin. I mean, the amount of tackles he put in and won the ball, can't think of one.
Yeah, he was good early in the season, but now he's just gone. Chelsea
it seems like
he's awful.
It's just out of his depth. It's shown almost like he's playing out of his depth.
But that's the thing, Steve. We laud Coquelin as this player, but we seem to forget that he was actually on loan at Charlton 2 years ago.
Yeah, he was. We recalled him back.
Yeah.
And maybe, just maybe, there's a level and a plateau, and that plateau was last season, that he's actually not good enough. Now, there's nothing wrong with being that. I generally believe is that you talk about holding midfielders, but I can think of 2 holding midfielders in the Premiership that are much better than him. Kante
he's incredible.
Kante is incredible. But when Yarma's a better footballer than him, when Yarma's doing a better job in holding midfield than Coquelin is, he's done a fantastic job.
I'd put Coquelin down as a squad player at best, not as a first team regular.
Yeah, same here.
Yes. So
and same with El Neni. I mean, El Neni's a good player, but he's a squad player.
Yeah, he's a squad.
He's not. And you mentioned Kante. I mean, why did we buy Kante?
Well, again, it's one of those things.
30 million. He's cheap, isn't he? At that price.
Well, even before Conte went to Leicester, Arsene Wenger was aware of him. I mean, he went to Leicester.
He's aware of all these players, though, isn't he? He's aware of all these players.
And again, in terms of Arsene Wenger, I think with Arsene Wenger is that Arsene Wenger is a very well-intentioned man. That he doesn't want to blunt the development of his younger players. But what he doesn't realise is that Arsene Wenger needs to realise that he's managing a big club with big expectations, and he has to have competition for places, regardless of the fact of whether he's invited. Young players should make the fight for their place. Now, if these players haven't got the character to accept things like rotation and being dropped, then they shouldn't be playing for Arsenal, as far as I'm concerned. And if you want me to be honest, that probably is a reason why we see these capitulations in the big games, if they're character-wise.
I mean, I'd give anybody a chance, but ultimately, if they're not good enough, you can't keep playing them and hoping they're going to get better and hoping they're going to get better when there are better players. Because he always comes out with, well, if there's better players available, we would be interested in buying them. It's a load of bollocks. Rabiot, I saw Rabiot the other day playing for PSG.
Yeah.
He looks a beast in that midfield, and we were in for him or linked with him.
He's young.
And Draxler. Draxler's scoring for fun now.
Yeah.
An extra couple of million on the price, whatever it might be. Wenger just won't press the button. He wants to stick with his players that he's got developing, and he's not developing them.
No.
And you said earlier on, what's he not doing? Well, he's not developing the players. They reach a level, they plateau. They don't get any better.
And the thing about it, right, is that you can criticise Kroenke all you like, but hang on here. In the last 3 years, Kroenke has given Wenger money to spend.
Yeah, he has. Definitely.
He spent £35 million on 2 players.
He spent 100 million in the summer. 100 million you've spent in the summer.
He spent 35 million. Exactly. So he has had money to spend.
Absolutely.
And he had money to spend last year, and he had over the time. So for the people who slag off Kroenke, do what you must. But he has provided Wenger with transfer funds.
Definitely. And also, it's not Kroenke going out putting out the team and that, not and that. It's not him doing that. It's Wenger.
And another thing is what.
Of course, it is, and he's not moved. Doesn't move players. Why is Debussy still at the club?
Exactly. Why Sanogo? Why Sanogo still?
Get rid of him, Sanogo. Why is Sanogo?
Exactly.
Champions League. He shouldn't even be at the club now.
Well,
and they're still at the club.
I think Arsene Wenger has a very much of an Animal Farm situation in terms of like players'
numbers.
Wages. It's like his numbers, and I mean, we had a ridiculous situation where we couldn't get rid of Abue and Munya because they were in such great wages. I mean,
and Shamak can split that sheet.
Exactly. Like,
don't go on. Don't start. Don't go on.
No, I was getting examples.
Yeah, but you see, the thing about it is you say that, and that's another myth that I want to dispel. People say that Arsene Wenger's greatest achievement was to keep us in the top 4. We had these players. That's a myth. Arsene Wenger had great players, and that's why we were in the top 4. Remember, he had Fabregas, Nasri, Van Persie, Adebayor, Hleb for a time. I said, and
Sharvin.
Sharvin. He's had Ozil all that time, and Sanchez. So, no disrespect, if you compare those players to our competitors from the top 4, i.e. Tottenham, we're better teams than anyway. He was achieving what he should be achieving with these players because Arsene Wenger is a very attacking manager. Defensively, he's a joke. And goalkeeping wise, he made a pig's ear of the goalkeeping situation until we got checked. But he bought fantastic attacking players, which meant in the second half of the season, when the pressure was off, we were battering teams because we had better players than everyone else. So Arsene Wenger's getting the top 4 when he had is a myth because when Arsenal were playing to the strips Arsene Wenger wanted to us, we had attacking players, so we weren't going to get the top 4. We just weren't challenging what we should be.
The thing is, Arsenal can't play under pressure. Once they're out of the league race, they'll start playing.
Exactly.
Because the pressure won't be on to win the league.
Exactly.
The pressure will be on to finish for the top 4, and as you say, the attacking players will all start playing, and we'll finish top 4.
Exactly. This is
exactly.
So when it's actually about winning the actual big one, the Champions League or the Championship, we get close. We get that sort of, we're up for this. We're challenging. We're looking really good. We go through the league unbeaten in the Champions League. It's unlucky we get Bayern Munich, but we've got to play Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Real Madrid at some point anyway.
Absolutely.
But what you don't do is what we always do is cop out in the first game. Whether it's home or away against Monaco, against Bayern Munich, we cop out in the first game. I wouldn't be surprised if we go and beat Bayern Munich 3-0 at home, but we'll be 1 goal short.
Exactly. You told you
failure.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I said I wasn't saying that.
But the thing is Bayern Munich beat us on reputation, not on skill. They beat us because their players weren't doing the basics. Every goal they scored last week was avoidable.
Completely.
Absolutely.
Completely.
I mean, Muller hasn't scored all season, and he come off the bench and scored within 2 minutes, hasn't he? I mean, it's incredible.
The first goal was a joke. The second goal was even funnier. The third one was embarrassing. There was about 4 errors.
Yeah.
Towards that third goal, and then you had the fourth goal where a holding midfielder was doing a centre half's job in trying to head the ball out.
Well, I think they just stopped playing. They collapsed. You can use whatever word you like, but they basically collapsed second half. Koscielny went off, and I can't put it down to just Koscielny going off. And Gabriel actually didn't play that bad.
I didn't think, exactly. It's Mustafi, I thought was awful.
Mustafi didn't get off the ground against Lewandowski. He was watching the ball. He said, that's a really nice ball coming over. What should I do with that?
Exactly.
He's out-jumped him by about 4 feet, isn't he? And he's like...
Yeah.
And also he was giving a captaincy to Kieran Gibbs. Seriously, what?
What's all that about?
That means we're in trouble. Don't you think that this is also another area where that's annoying is the captaincy? Because I've been saying this for ages now that he doesn't really care about the captaincy.
Give it to Sanchez. Give it to Sanchez. Give it the armband to Sanchez.
Give it. But the thing is, at the beginning of last season, I was astonished that Petr Cech didn't get it.
Yeah.
I was shocked. I was thinking, hang on, this geezer's won a lot with Chelsea, every trophy with Chelsea, and he's got the big match experience, and he didn't get. He wasn't even considered.
Well, no, you gave it to a player that's not actually playing. You gave it to Mersak, who's actually out of the side for 6 months.
And Koscielny, I'm no disrespect to Koscielny, but Iwobi was struggling in that first half. He was struggling at Stamford Bridge. I didn't once see. I was at Stamford Bridge again. I never once saw Koscielny telling him where to go. Never pointed his finger. He did nothing.
He doesn't say a word. He doesn't say a word.
I'm sorry.
What does Kieran Gibbs? I mean, Kieran Gibbs. You never hear a word from Kieran Gibbs, do you?
The only time I remember him screaming was a few years ago when Giroud missed an easy chance against Liverpool. Then he screamed in his face. That's the only time I've seen him shout. Other times, I've not seen him say words.
Yeah.
And I think that's another situation. It's the Arsene Wenger had a little conundrum as well, and it was maybe you might think it's a nice conundrum. I think that Giroud's form was good for us in terms of strong games, but it actually put us back a few games. I think that's the biggest concern is that with Giroud, we were playing our best football when we had Sanchez up front. We have a few injuries. Giroud gets his chance. Excellent, did well, blah blah. But he's always been a plan B for me this season. I think, unfortunately, the damage has been done.
Yeah. Well, guys, I've really enjoyed talking to you, but I'm afraid I'm gonna have to wrap up the show because I've got to get off now. But thanks ever so much for coming on.
Good one.
Thank you very much, Steve.
I enjoyed this.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too. It's a very good discussion. Yeah. But
thanks for having me anyway.
That's all right, no problem. And thanks again, Stephen, for coming on.
Thanks very much, guys.
And thanks very much for you. And thanks very much for you for watching. You've been watching this, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. It really helps me out. And I noticed the other day my Bayern Munich video that I literally went off got over 1,000 views. And I have to say thanks ever so much. Thanks ever so much for all the support and all the love you've shown. I really much appreciate that. And yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button. And if you have subscribed, please do. And as always, I'll be speaking to you very soon. And keep supporting the boys. Come on, you Reds.